2025, live well at your own pace. This is the theme that Rise and Shine wants to share with you in these early days of spring. Today's message comes from Rise and Shine's collection of classic works through a masterpiece titled Walden, Living Alone in the Woods by the American writer, poet, and philosopher Henry David Thoreau. I sincerely hope that in 2025, we can all live well at our own pace. And now, let's listen to the thoughts and reflections in today's video. There was a man who never followed others' footsteps. In 1833, there was a remarkably talented young man named Thoreau. He was accepted into Harvard University, and in his free time, he often wrote essays and published them in newspaper. He did this purely out of passion, without any intention of pursuing achievements. He read extensively, but did not want to follow the conventional paths of those before him. He chose to live by his own principles. Thoreau lived during a time when the American economy was booming in the 19th century. Society was making great strides toward industrial civilization. At that time, everyone was racing forward in life. Some seized opportunities and soared like kites in the wind, quickly accumulating wealth and becoming pioneers of the era. Others remained committed to the careers passed down by their parents and ancestors. Though they faced struggles, they did not fall behind. Some had no choice but to withdraw from the race, returning to their hometowns to farm and cultivate the land. Meanwhile, there were also those who, no matter how hard they tried, still lagged far behind others. In the eyes of many, Thoreau was one of those left behind, a pitiful man who would never move forward. After graduating, Thoreau worked as a journalist for a publishing house, but his manuscripts were repeatedly rejected by the editor-in-chief. He and his brother co-founded and operated a private school, but it eventually went bankrupt. Later, he worked in his father's pencil manufacturing workshop. In this job, he was quite successful, as he managed to improve and create a type of pencil using a new technique that had never been seen before. This innovation gave him the opportunity to earn a substantial income and become wealthy. However, Thoreau chose not to expand production. Instead, he decided to stop working in the business altogether. To him, if making money meant repeating the same tasks every day, it would be nothing but monotony. He refused to subject himself to the torment of repetitive work or be bound by the desire for a luxurious home or extravagant meals like everyone else. As a result, while those around him became increasingly wealthy, Thoreau became poorer. He even struggled to afford rent. Whenever someone advised him to learn from others, Thoreau firmly responded, "I would rather sit on a pumpkin and have it all to myself than be crowded on a velvet cushion. I would rather ride in an open cart and move freely on earth than ascend to heaven in a luxurious excursion train, breathing the same air as you all along the way." To him, the most important thing in life was not surpassing others or keeping up with society. Achieving success in the way others defined it did not necessarily bring true happiness. What mattered most was for each person to find their own rhythm and pace in life. Because he refused to follow the steps of others and did not allow any rules to confine him, he became Henry David Thoreau, a writer, poet, naturalist, philosopher, and a pioneer of transcendentalism. He was also a thinker who explored the relationship between nature and human life. It can be said that he is one of the few American writers after the 20th century who has had a profound and far-reaching influence, beloved by readers all over the world. Walk to the beat of your own drum. At the age of 28, when most people were chasing wealth and material possessions, Thoreau abandoned everything. With a borrowed axe, he went into the pine forest by Walden Pond. There he chopped wood, built a house, and cultivated the land. And from this very place, he beheld the breathtaking beauty of Walden Pond. He spent a long time building his house, all by himself with only an axe in hand. Every day, on his way back from the forest, he would hear the larks singing in the sky. In winter, he chopped wood to prepare the necessary materials. When spring arrived, the frame of his house was finally completed. Thoreau spent a small portion of his savings on old wood and began decorating the interior of his humble cabin. And just like that, with his own two hands, neither rushing nor pressured, yet never idle, he slowly and peacefully built a home for himself. For the next 2 years, he befriended the mountains, rivers, and stars, conversed with the birds, the lake, and the fish. His thoughts soared freely in the stillness of nature, in a life of simplicity. Eventually, they were distilled into his timeless masterpiece, Walden. Living alone in the woods, Tranquil Lake, a self-built wooden house, surrounded by trees, accompanied by birdsong. Thoreau's life at Walden Pond touched the hearts of countless readers around the world. Walden not only influenced American literature, but also deeply impacted the social movements of Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. At the same time, this work has inspired many modern individuals longing for a life of serenity. Thoreau once said, "Men have become the tools of their tools." And he also declared, "A man is successful if he advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life he has imagined." In life's marathon, everyone runs in different directions, at different speeds. Some start strong, some bloom late, some live a quiet and peaceful life, while others are eliminated from the race too soon. Dreams, abilities, thoughts, and even luck. All these variables create distances between us and others. We will never truly be in sync with everyone, nor will we always progress or fall behind at the same pace. And if we keep focusing on how far have I come or how much have I gained, we may lose our own rhythm. Only by running at our own pace, living in harmony with our own rhythm, can we firmly navigate through life's storms and step into the beautiful, uncharted lands of our own journey. Moving to your own rhythm to persevere through challenges. When Thoreau set foot on Walden Pond, he faced countless challenges that needed to be overcome. The first was how he could survive in this desolate forest. During the time he was building his house, he had to chop wood and carry heavy loads from early morning every day, requiring a great deal of physical effort. However, with limited finances and no time for farming, he could only satisfy his hunger with cornmeal and purslane. Many villagers nearby advised him not to live there, saying that a person could not survive without bread or pork. How could he obtain such things in the forest? But Thoreau proved them wrong. Despite having only cornmeal and wild greens, he remained strong and healthy. In reality, his true challenge was not a lack of food, but the harsh winter. Winter, by the lake, lasted about 3 to 4 months, with heavy snowfall on many days. His wooden cabin was as cold as an icebox, but he found many ways to endure the freezing temperatures. Venturing into the snow-covered forest to gather aged logs for a fire that burned day and night, and thickly plastering the walls to retain heat. Throughout the long, desolate winter nights, Thoreau would gaze at the flickering flames and listen to the wind howling outside his cabin. To him, the sound of the wind sweeping over the mountain slopes felt like a heroic anthem. Despite the extreme conditions, he still found happiness in what seemed impossible. Many people tried to persuade him to find a stable job. Even doing odd work at a nearby farm would have sufficed. But Thoreau replied, "I want to climb the mountains slowly, freely pick berries. The things I desire are not lacking. So why should I do work I dislike and exhaust myself?" The hardships he endured at Walden did not break his initial resolve. Instead, they strengthened him, driving him to dedicate himself even more to life. You see, when someone is determined to live for themselves, they will maintain a calm and optimistic attitude in the face of any difficulties or dangers that arise. They will walk to the rhythm of their own life, without panic or impatience, without being disturbed by the noise of the outside world, and without fear of surrendering to the hardships ahead. No matter what choices you make or what kind of life you pursue, you cannot escape the challenges that fate presents. What truly matters is to nurture a strong heart, remain calm, summon courage, and persistently move forward on the path you have chosen. The right steps lead us to happiness. In this book, Thoreau vividly recounts a summer morning when he was rowing a small boat, drifting on a calm lake. Upon reaching the middle of the lake, he lay on his back and unknowingly fell asleep. When he woke up, he found that the water had carried his boat to the shore. He said that his heart felt as free as a bird. Although life at Walden was challenging, Thoreau experienced a peace and joy he had never known before. Every day he was visited by guests from nature. Sometimes a gentle breeze carrying the scent of flowers, sometimes a timid little sparrow, and sometimes a clumsy rabbit that had lost its way. Whenever he stepped into the forest, he felt a primal vitality awaken within him. As night fell, the first sounds echoing from the distant horizon were the lowing of cattle, followed by the barking of dogs, the whisper of the wind, and the trickling of water. This natural symphony made him feel far from lonely, even when he was alone in the stillness of the night. In his book, Thoreau could not hold back his emotions and expressed, "My heart is free. Joy and happiness always fill my home." In this state of freedom, he began to meditate, reflect on philosophy, observe the world and its wonders, and at the same time, explore the true essence of his inner self. He read extensively, wrote prolifically, and met people with deep knowledge. His days by the lake shaped him. He was neither a failure nor a recluse withdrawing from the world in despair. Rather, he was someone who lived life to the fullest, like a tree deeply rooted in the earth, yet never forgetting to look up at the vast sky above. Thoreau's story brings to mind a quote from Haruki Murakami. "No matter what others in the world say, I only trust my own feelings. No matter what others think, I will never break my own rhythm. If I like something, I will naturally persist. If I don't like something, no matter what, I cannot keep doing it for long." Thus, only by doing what you truly love can you experience genuine and lasting happiness. If each step we take merely imitates the lives of others, then even if we succeed, we will never feel true joy, never find the real meaning of life, and never discover the freedom within our own souls. Therefore, you must understand yourself. See your heart clearly from the beginning. Free yourself from external influences and carve out your own path. A reader once wrote a letter to Thoreau after reading his work, expressing a desire to follow in his footsteps and live alone in nature. Surprisingly, Thoreau firmly refused and told him, everyone should follow their own heart and live as their unique self. This was also the very purpose of his writing, to inspire people to become the Columbus of their own lives. Columbus once ventured out to discover a new continent, and likewise, each of us must seek out our own unexplored land to live and experience a world that is truly ours. In this life, no two leaves are alike, just as no two people are entirely the same. Only by walking our own path can we live a life of true happiness and meaning. As a scholar once said, the best things always appear when you least expect them. So, there is no need to rush. Walk at your own pace. As long as you keep moving forward, each passing day will become a precious part of your journey. A few words for you. After living by the lake for just 2 years, I'm sure many would wonder. In the end, he must have given up on his own rhythm, but Thoreau explained his departure as strongly as he did his arrival because he wanted to experience many lives. He did not want to spend any more time on just one. The truth is, we can easily slip into a fixed routine without realizing it, and then we unknowingly step into a rut. If you become too familiar with joy, success, or even your current life, you are likely to follow the same old tracks. So many footprints have been left on the surface of this earth, and the paths of thought are no different. The great roads of the world have been worn down and covered in dust. The marks of tradition and worldly conventions are deeply etched into each person's consciousness. At the very least, the author discovered one thing. If a person boldly moves forward toward his dreams and strives to live as he dares to think and imagine, he may achieve success beyond his expectations in his own lifetime. That means you don't necessarily have to follow in the footsteps of the successful to succeed. You can carve out your own path and live a life you truly desire. Why do we lower the standards of our souls just to live with mundane thoughts and repetitive tasks, calling it social conformity and believing it to be the right thing to do? Why do we throw ourselves into jobs just to chase success, fame, or merely to make a living? Some say that work done solely for survival is not worth wasting one's life on. And in hindsight, that statement seems true. There is a truth in life. If a person is constantly struggling to keep pace with his peers, it may be because he has heard the sound of a battle drum, feeling the need to catch up with someone to satisfy a certain desire. And these hurried footsteps often stem from deeply ingrained societal norms. We have imposed countless forms and symbols on everything around us. But in the end, only the truth gives us meaning. And only the truth gives us meaning. And only the truth can withstand the test of time. The essence of this truth lies in a simple question. Are you truly happy with your life right now? No matter how humble your life may seem, you must live it fully and embrace your own rhythm. Never run away, never complain, and never resent it. No matter how difficult it gets, pour your passion into your present life. Even if you live in a small and narrow place, you can still find joy and light. As Confucius advised, do not rush for rapid growth, and do not rely too much on external forces. It is all futile. Material wealth can only buy unnecessary things, while the essentials of the soul require no money at all. The book Walden, Living Alone in the Woods, will undoubtedly evoke different emotions in each person. We don't need to agree completely, and not everyone has to approve of it. But if you are feeling resentful, unsatisfied with what you have, burdened by what you desire, or unsure of your next step, then I truly believe that immersing yourself in the original words of this book will help you find your own quiet Walden pond. And finally, there is a quote from the author that has left me with deep reflection. He wrote, "Only that day dawns to which we are awake. The day is still long, and the sun is but a morning star." In the footnotes, the morning star is described as a guiding light for us. Thoreau hoped that, in the time we have left, we can discover a new direction at our own pace and experience a completely different life, because life is not about how much we have, but about the experiences we gain. I hope we can all break free from the well-trodden paths, find what we truly love, and live fully in our own rhythm. May we all find our own rhythm and live with all the passion within us. Finally, thank you for listening. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.